Well, people announce their retirement. Mayhem. Feel you.
Meeting to order. Be it resolved, the Montgomery County Board of Supervisors of Montgomery County, Virginia hereby enters into a closed meeting for the purposes of discussing the following: Section 2.2-3711, discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, discipline, or resignation of specific officers, appointees, or employees of any public body. 1, Social Services Board. 2, County Administrator. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Fidzikowski?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Into closed meeting. Motion to come out of closed meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second.
I'm sorry, who's second?
I'm questioning.
Second.
There we go. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. DeMotts?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Chakowski?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Certification of closed meeting. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery County has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to the affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the Board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery County, Virginia hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification resolution applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion conveying the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the Board. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. DeMotts?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Chakowski?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Very good. At this time, I'll ask if our County Administrator, Mr. Meadows, would lead us in a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Absolutely. If you're able, please rise for a moment of silence, and then I'll lead us in the pledge. Let us pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Up first, presentation, recognitions, and awards, RSVP 50th anniversary, and I do believe we have a video.
We'll do the video and then have you guys come up. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Happy 50th anniversary, RSVP. Thank you for all that you do.
Happy 50th anniversary, RSVP. We are so proud of you.
Happy 50th anniversary, RSVP.
We got it right that time.
RSVP was sponsored locally from 1973 to 1975 by the Christiansburg Community Center under the direction of Reverend Marion Hall and Patricia Palmer. The Montgomery County Board of Supervisors became the local sponsor in 1976 under the direction of Betty Ann McVeigh. The program has received federal funding through Action, the Corporation for National Community Service, and AmeriCorps. Many individuals have held the title of RSVP Director, and I am so happy to be here today in this position to share this information with you. I began my journey with RSVP in Montgomery County in 2003 as a program assistant under the direction of Angela Little. When Angela retired in 2015, I began my journey as the RSVP coordinator, and here I am with you today, getting ready to celebrate 20 years of employment with Montgomery County.
I came to work for RSVP in 1999 for the New River Valley Agency on Aging. I worked there until 2015 when I came to work for Montgomery County when Angela Little retired, and I said, I need a change. I was 62 at the time and said, hey, I think I need to change careers. So rather than change a whole new career, I said, I'll just change locations. So here I am, 23 years later, and getting ready to celebrate 8 years with Montgomery County and 23 years of service.
When I quit work, I had worked long years, and I was a manager for most of those years. And when I quit work, I did not want to sit. I wanted to be busy. So I got to come to RSVP and meet a lot of new people.
My sister was a member and volunteered at RSVP, and she said that's something you ought to do. So I retired in 2010 and started with RSVP in 2011. I volunteer at McKeith Thrift Store, which is a Montgomery County Emergency Assistance Program. Started back in, I think, 75 for an Anglican priest here, and he wanted to help people that were not eligible for social services and stuff like that.
RSVP serves as a clearinghouse to match the needs of the community with the skills and knowledge of our volunteers. Our volunteers serve over 60 nonprofit organizations and healthcare facilities in our service area.
I could talk to you all day long about what we do. There's so many things. You know, I love Supplies for Seniors. You know, I've been on board with Supplies for Seniors when it first started. You know, we were sitting around talking about something that we could do for the people in our community that were in need, and we came up with this idea.
I've participated in the Supplies for Seniors for the last several years, and that's dear to me. These supplies are of household items, personal items for our most vulnerable population, our homebound seniors and our veterans. And it's just so heartwarming, especially during the winter months when loneliness and isolation can be a factor. This is a way to connect with those citizens to make sure that they know that they're not forgotten, they're appreciated, and they're supported.
The RSVP program is just invaluable in the fact that these volunteers are paying it forward and showing the community what it means to dedicate time and resources and energy to making our community a better place to live. And I only see that growing, and I hope future generations see the value of that as well. It means so much to me to be able to show those volunteers how much they mean to me and how much they mean to the county. I wish I could be there in person in front of them to sign each certificate and to give them a hug or a handshake, because their time, again, is so valuable, and I can't thank them enough for what they do for all our citizens.
A lot of people have a lot of ideas about how RSVP stayed together for so long, and it's been under a lot of administrations. But I believe that many organizations look for senior volunteers just because they have so many skills, so much knowledge, and so much experience.
I think it's a way of service, you know, to the community. And as I said, you know, with RSVP, you tell people about RSVP and they say, well, I'm not sure that I want to do quite that much. And we tell them that they can do as much or as little as they want. But there's such a variety of doing things that they can pick and choose and still be of service.
Until I joined, I didn't even realize there was such a thing as RSVP, but so many people are involved in it that it's, I think it just helps the community, and the community know that if they want to help somebody, there's a place to go that they can be directed to help the people.
I tell you what, the anniversary of RSVP and the program that the seniors provide in our community is just huge. It's hard to believe it's been 50 years since that program began, and it just keeps getting better every day. I'm excited about what the future holds for that program.
Our volunteers are the heartbeat of our community. They give back greatly, they enjoy volunteering, and they understand the needs of the community.
Out of 27 years of working with RSVP and national service programs, Ava's been through this journey with me for 24 of those years, working in different capacities through this program. And I don't know what I would have done without her. She has been an amazing support system, whether we're working in the same office or in two different locations. And I'm just very thankful for this opportunity and to work with you.
Thank you, Mandy. I've enjoyed every step of the way. I really have. I told Josh earlier in my part of the interview that I've worked in a lot of different jobs and in a lot of different capacities over the years. And to have the opportunity to work in public service for 23 years and to enjoy what I do every day and get up to go to work and feel good about what I do and go home every day feeling like I've made a difference in the lives of people is something that I cherish. And I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much.
Happy 50th anniversary, RSVP!
Happy anniversary. If I can have the RSVP come forward. Good evening, Ms. Hayes, Ms. Nguyen, Ava. Hello. I'm going to read a proclamation, and then I'm going to let our board have an opportunity to congratulate you all and make comments on 50 years. What a huge milestone and accomplishment. Proclamation, Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, RSVP, 50th Anniversary. Whereas, first established in 1973 with grant funding from the Federal Administration on Aging and Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, RSVP works to help keep seniors and retired persons active in the community. And whereas the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program is the largest older adult volunteer, age 55 and plus, program in the nation that provides older Americans the opportunity to apply their life experience to meeting the community needs. And whereas RSVP volunteers serve in a diverse range of nonprofit organizations and public agencies, and RSVP volunteers choose how, where, and when they want to serve, with commitments ranging from a few hours to 40 hours per week. And whereas there are currently 5,000 host agencies in 50 states with more than 400,000 volunteers, and whereas since 1973, Montgomery County has served as the local sponsor of RSVP, supporting and promoting the volunteer opportunities available through the program. And whereas Montgomery County had 213 volunteers and served up to 61 work sites, contributing 29,859 hours of service, estimated at $894,277 in 2022. And whereas Montgomery County RSVP volunteers raises money through bake sales, raffles, and walkathons to fund 2 1,000 scholarships granted to local high school seniors, provides cleaning products, personal hygiene supplies to homebound seniors, and provides holiday bags to local nursing homes. And whereas this year, Montgomery County celebrates the 50th anniversary of the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Montgomery, Virginia, does hereby commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Retired and Senior Services Program and recognizes and honored the Retired and Senior Service Program volunteers who contribute their time and wisdom to make our community stronger. Congratulations. I'll go around the room, and starting with Supervisor DeMonts.
I can't believe I get to start this. That's exciting. The video was incredible. I loved, I saw so many different locations, the McKeep, I saw the Christmas store, I saw so many different places where your work, I know, makes an impact in this community. We are a much better Montgomery County because of the work of RSVP. Thank you all so much for your dedication, not just to each other, but to your neighbors in this community. I'm certain that it makes a difference for people every single day. Thank you.
Supervisor Bone.
Thank you for all the work that you do.
Supervisor Shepherd.
I really appreciate all the work you do, and I know the citizens of this county do too. And I know it's a lot of work and takes a lot of time from your personal life, so I really appreciate it as a person and as a senior.
Supervisor Fidzikowski.
Yes, especially thank you for all your time and the commitment that you've made to the citizens of Montgomery County. That is just an awesome thing. Volunteerism is, a lot of times we talk about it here as something that's dying, but you all have kept it alive for 50 years, so congratulations. Thank you.
Supervisor King.
Just want to thank you, each and every one of you, so much for what you do for the citizens in Montgomery County. I mean, you're just a bright star in Montgomery County. You really shine, and we do appreciate you.
Vice Chair Biggs.
Well, we couldn't do it without you. Thank each and every one of you and those that are involved that maybe are not here tonight. Giving back like you do is such a special thing to give back to a community, and your influence has been felt by many. And I like the fact that the PR on your organization is always out there, so everyone knows that you're here. And I really appreciate everything you do.
Well, I just have to say how proud we are of all of you, your time commitment. The longevity of this program being the 50th anniversary is just a testament to your commitment and love and the joy. I've seen firsthand the joy that you have serving your community and the positive impact that you make on each of the citizens. I would like to ask each of you, what is your most favorite part of being a part of RSVP?
For me, it's the people. I mean, when I moved down here 15 years ago, I didn't know a soul except my immediate family. And I met Angela Little at a AARP picnic. And she brought me into the fold. And the friends that I have made and the people that I have met and the things that I have been able to do to help others is just, I never thought that my life would go that way. And it's been very rewarding.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share?
Well, if you think the last 50 years have been wait for the next 50 years, so many.
Absolutely. We wish you great. Mandy, did you want to say?
I do. I just want to say on behalf of RSVP, our volunteers in the community, we thank you so much, the Board of Supervisors, for your support to Montgomery County. We could not do what we do without you and the support that you give us as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy anniversary. Thank you. Yeah. All right, public address. The Board of Supervisors allows citizens to present comments on issues deserving their attention during public address. At each meeting, we have a sign-up sheet. And then if you're not on the sign-up sheet, any citizen can come forward. They'll have 4 minutes to speak to the board. Speakers are requested to provide their name and address. Speakers have 4 minutes, whether speaking as an individual or a representative. All comments must be directed to the chair or other supervisors from the speaker's lectern at the front of the room. Speakers may leave any written statements or comments to the supervisors with the board clerk. Speakers will be judged out of order should the speaker engage in any personal attacks, use profanity or abusive language, and debate with the audience and not address the supervisors. I do not have anyone sign up on the sheet. However, if any citizen would like to come forward, they have 4 minutes to address the board. You'll state your name and address, and when the yellow light blinks, that's your 1-minute warning.
Chris Walls, 1370 Rigby Street. I had heard the letter read at the couple of town council meetings ago from y'all concerning a meeting between you all. I think that's a step in the right direction, although I probably would have not have made the letter as condescending as it sounded. It sounded more like a parent talking to a child than a group of supervisors talking to an equal group of town council members. And it was also disappointing that you appeared not to put any plan in there or any suggestion or any offer or anything else. You just said, we'll meet with you and we'll listen to your concerns, and that's about it. As I've said, I'll say it again, the SROs in the schools is the county's responsibility. You own the schools, the towns don't. It's nice that Blacksburg is being a nice person, and they're paying for it. Of course, y'all kiss their butts a lot more than you do Christiansburg, so maybe they should. And the county gets a lot more money, and they get a lot more money because of the students. But again, it's still your responsibility, and you shouldn't just go in there to listen to their concerns. You should go in there with a plan other than, well, we just want the status quo and we want you to pay. And, from what I've heard, it seems like some of y'all, which surprises me, as some of you all actually have a law enforcement background. You all should at this point understand budgets. don't seem to understand what your responsibilities are as members of the Board of Supervisors, or even what the county's responsibilities are. They're your schools. You know, and how budgets work, and law enforcement budgets work, and who's responsible in law enforcement. You know, Christiansburg is responsible for Christiansburg, the streets, the houses. The county is responsible for the county and the things in the outlying area. You know, it's your responsibility to fund the police for the county schools that you own. And as some of you continue to put out misinformation and don't seem to understand that, it's pretty sad at this point, because you've all been in office for years. Thank you, that's all I have.
Would anyone else like to come forward and address the board? You have 4 minutes to do so. Seeing no one come forward, we'll close public address. Addendum?
No addendum this evening, Madam Chair.
All right, items of consent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, we do, on here it has that cigarette tax stamp. I didn't vote for that tax, so can we move that to the side and vote separate?
Okay, and that would be item C, appropriations and transfers.
I mean, I'm okay with the rest of it, but not that tax deal.
Madam Chair, that can be removed to
We can do that separate. We put that, does that still need to be
be under new business.
under new business?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we will move that to, we will remove that. With that removal, do I need to do another motion? All right, can I have an a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Fitchukowski?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Okay, very good. All right, then, do I have a motion to move into work session? And this, I'm sorry,
So
say what the work session is about. This was, Mr. Supervisor King asked to bring work session up for EMS. So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Fitchukowski?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
Aye.
7 ayes.
I do appreciate us having a discussion on this. Before I get started, I just want to say that EMS does a wonderful job for the county citizens. I have no complaint whatsoever by paid or volunteer. When we first started this, I think on several occasions I said we need to watch what we're doing because it's going to snowball out. And I know there's other board members that says they've seen it on social media. My concern right now is we are responsible for the safety of citizens of Montgomery County. We have a lot of hearsay, he said, she said, and all this miscommunication going on. I mean, I know some of you seen the news there Friday, I think it was, on the Shawsville side. And, you know, it's just a lot of miscommunication going on. I would like for this board to maybe help me with this and think about it. I would like to see it move forward. I would like to see us have a committee drawn up, and I would like for it to consist of 2 board members, 2 staff from the paid side, and 1 member from each department in the county for a advisory board. That way, everybody, the paid side and the volunteer side, will know what's going on. There will be no, oh, I heard this and I heard that. If any department, volunteer and paid side, hears something, they can go to that board and ask them, is this what's happening? And the board will have the answers. Not only will that help calm things down, but think about this. It will also, if you got 2 board members from this board, if something else pops up down the road at another department, we will know about it. We will have time to react.
Supervisor King, just for clarification, because I'm not sure exactly what the concerns are, miscommunication, could you go a little in detail?
Well, and it's not only in one area, I've heard it from other areas, that the paid is moving forward with doing other things and what's supposed to happen. Like I said, I'm not being mean to anybody. I appreciate everything they do. The paid staff helped save one of my family members' life. But it's just hearsay, it's out here. Community members is asking me, well, I heard y'all gonna do this, I heard you're gonna do that. No, we're not doing anything. When we first started, it was for 24/7 in Shawsville, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Reiner. I think if we had a committee, this will stop the hearsay because they will have answers, because both sides will have answers.
Don't we have the Fire and Rescue Commission that
It
has
has nothing to do with this.
The Fire and Rescue Commission has nothing to do with the paid and the, aren't there representation from each of the?
They are for equipment and stuff. All I'm asking is for us to have opportunity. We have an opportunity right here to work with paid and volunteers. We have an opportunity here. Look back at several other localities that had started off volunteer and then started getting paid in. Now go back and see how many volunteers they have now.
Are there any counties that have transitioned that have an advisory board like this that is successful?
I have no idea. I'm looking at Montgomery County.
Could we get some clarification on the Fire and Rescue? I was under the assumption that they were the, lines of communication for both now paid representation and all the volunteer departments. Could I get some clarification on their role?
It's primarily an information sharing group. They do address capital concerns. It is an avenue because there is representation from Montgomery County Fire and EMS. Also, the 911 authorities represented, as well as all the volunteer agencies.
Do we know if this has brought up at the Fire Rescue Commission?
Steve, are you on that?
Yeah, it hasn't been brought up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
It has not been brought up.
I still don't know what it is. I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what I haven't seen anything on social media. I'm not sure what the problem is. So I feel like a little in the dark on discussing how to solve it when I'm not sure what it is. Besides that people are spreading rumors that may or may not be true. I don't even know what kind of rumors they are.
Yeah, I think that's the issue, Todd. Well, first of all, we're I've only heard positive, so I haven't heard what you've heard, okay? So I guess I'm looking at, what would the purpose of the committee be that the information that you're hearing, could it not be brought back to the county level, the staffing that we have in place already? Or could it not be discussed at the Fire and Rescue Task Force? a subcommittee or something? I'm just not clear what, can you help me understand what it is you want this committee to accomplish? Like, okay, if there's a comment on social media that's not true, are you saying the comment would go to the committee and the committee would say it's not true? I mean, what exactly would it accomplish?
All I'm saying is, if we had a committee, when you get, and I'm not being mean when I say this, okay? But I volunteer. When you're going to have a controversy of what's going on. And it's just one side says one thing, the other side says something else. All I'm trying to do is get something together so we can actually work together. We have opportunity to work paid and volunteer together. We have opportunity. If you would reach out and talk to other localities that started this, paid and volunteer, and just ask them how many volunteers do you have left. How about reaching out to some of the volunteers and talk to them? I mean, I've said this several times up here. I'm all for this. Our number one job is to make sure the citizens have the resources they need. I'm all about that. But where I'm going with this is, if you would just reach out to some of these people and talk to them.
So what you're saying is there's a friction between the volunteers and the paid people, and you're trying to resolve this in some manner. Is that what you're
Right.
trying to say?
Right.
Is it because the paid are doing things that they shouldn't be doing?
No.
Okay.
Paid is doing good. Everybody is doing what they need to do. My concern is with this conflict and stuff, and like I said, reach out to them and talk to them. All I'm saying is if we work together, we can make this work. It can work good. But we just need to have some kind of table that the paid and the volunteer can come to and say, well, I heard this. Is that right? No, it's not right. Or yes, it is right. This is the way we're moving.
I thought that was what the Fire and Rescue
No.
Commission for information and sharing of concerns, no?
Nope. They have no control over paid EMS.
Well, no, but I mean, Mr. Michael is part of that group for concerns.
Yeah, I think we already have a system set up. We have a emergency services coordinator, and he has staff. I think this would be easier if we're just talking about misinformation. They can contact his office and get it straight from him. I don't see where a committee is going to make it certainly not any more efficient, because the committee may have issues too. And I think this is something that could just get away from us. Now, if you're talking about us going to the volunteers, that's something totally different. So you're going to have a committee meet and then go somewhere and meet with volunteers?
No.
Is that what you're suggesting?
No.
So the volunteers that have an issue would come to the committee and present that to the committee, and then the committee would give them an answer?
That's why you would have one person from each department to come.
But if you're looking for one answer, an answer to an issue, isn't it easier to come from one person than from a committee? I mean, to me, it would be more efficient that way.
That if you have one from each department, then each department would have a say. All I'm trying to do is stop a headache from coming down the road. I'm just telling you.
So you're saying that the committee members themselves could disagree amongst themselves?
Yes.
Then how are you going to accomplish that?
Well, wait a minute. At least they would know how it was going.
Okay.
All right. I brought it up. When a headache comes down the road, y'all have to answer the questions.
So is there not an outlet I guess I'm trying to figure out this. So right now, Todd, you're feeling there's not an outlet for whatever is bothering either the paid or the volunteers. There's not an outlet for them. There's not a place they can go to talk about it, or is that
All
the
all I'm saying is we need to set up something so they can work together.
What if we set up something like a hotline that people could call into? Would that,
Work together how? How?
So each side knows what the other side is doing. Maybe I'll just have some people come up here and discuss it in front of everybody. Would y'all want me to do that?
Sure.
If it could,
Yeah.
I'm still confused.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
could
that's the
help
prob-
bring some clarity to what's going on.
Yeah.
I certainly want to support you, but I'm not really sure what the problem is to support you. So yeah, if there's a problem and we have the opportunity to solve it, I'd like to know what the problem is.
Okay.
Would-
So when
would-
they
would
come, be ready to answer
would
questions.
they be willing to come and explain what it
Yep.
is that they're upset about so that we could look at it in some manner?
Yep.
That's what you're saying.
I'm not sure of the issue that Todd's talking about. I have talked to a couple of the volunteer rescue members, and I know what they've told me, and it's just the nature of the brute that's going to happen when we have part paid and part volunteer. That's my opinion. They feel, the ones I talked to felt like we were paying for something that we didn't appreciate them enough for, so to speak. I know it's not the right way to say it, but you know what I'm saying? It's like you're paying to do that, but yet I'm doing it for free. And I don't know what Todd's hearing. I haven't heard anything lately, so I don't know. This has been some time ago when I spoke to a couple of members.
yeah, and it's something that the Fire and Rescue Commission took up. And we formed a committee to look into incentives to reward and thank our volunteers. And it was voted down. So,
What, you mean at the task force that was voted down?
yeah, we don't call it task force.
Well,
Fire and
whatever you
Rescue
call
Commission.
your committee, so it was voted down at the
Yes,
commit? Oh.
yes, yeah. Yeah, we had come up with a plan to award points based on how much volunteering they did. Because you have some volunteers that come in and they answer all the calls. Then you have other volunteers that come in and maybe they just work on equipment or they clean up the station. They attend the meetings regularly. All those things we had awarded a point system. And I thought it was a pretty good one, but it was voted down. And the basic response was volunteers don't volunteer to get rewards.
Could that Fire and Rescue Commission, so again, I was assuming that was the communicative, informative for every agency's representative to discuss these needs and issues. If that's not being addressed there, that sounds like that would be the appropriate place for each agency's representative to bring those concerns.
Well, one thing I'll add too is, and I've said this from the day we started this, is the whole reason that we have evolved into paid EMS services to make sure we're providing the highest level of service we can for our citizens, to make sure that's what Supervisor King said. And we have a dedicated staff of some full-time, a whole lot of part-time, because it takes part-time to cover shifts, and the board's been very good to support that. I would say if there's any concerns with how that side of the house is working, Michael Gary has been very cognizant of trying to make sure that that group works well with the volunteer base. If there's issues, they should be brought to Michael's attention. And then if they're not being addressed at that level, then they should come to county administration's attention, because ultimately county administration through the EMS department is responsible for the management of that group. You know, and I'll echo, because I know Supervisor King and I have talked about that before too, and Supervisor Shepherd just said it. When every community that I've talked with that has gone through the transition that we're currently involved with, it's difficult for volunteers. If volunteers are volunteering and want to stay active, there's certainly an opportunity for that. And I've said at several of the events that I've been at, nothing would make me happier in the world is if 10 more folks would come out in an agency and say, we want to volunteer. The county will pay for training. We'll do whatever we can to make them the best volunteer that they can be. The problem is we don't have those people stepping up anymore. And that's the whole reason that we've had to get into this paid staffing situation. I mean, it's a challenge. You know, if there's areas of miscommunication, then we need to identify what those are and where it's coming from, and at least from the administrative side, put a stop to it.
Is it that they want to be appreciated more for volunteering? Because what they're doing is incredible.
No, that's not
we're
what they're
very
asking.
grateful for what they're doing.
That's not what they're asking for. I tell you what I'm going to do. They was going to come tonight, and I told them, let's get through this discussion here. I'll ask them to come to the next meeting, and they'll explain it to you.
So they can make it so we can
They
understand
got
exactly what.
They got all the paper and everything.
Motion to come out of work session?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Fitchukowski?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
Aye.
7 ayes.
All right, new business. Do I have a motion to schedule a public hearing for fee-for-services EMS?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
I am so excited for this.
Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Fitchukowski?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
Aye.
7 ayes.
All right. Brooman and Bloomin 40th anniversary.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second for a resolution to recognize the 40th anniversary of Brooman and Bloomin event.
B&B.
There you go. All right. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Bone? Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Fitchukowski?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
Aye.
7 ayes.
And under new business now, is this appropriation for the cigarette tax
It's actually, I'm sorry.
grant? Go ahead.
It's actually an appropriation for funds to be used from the general fund to cover purchase of cigarette tax stamps. Cigarette tax hasn't been effective yet, so it's an allocation from the general fund, and then also an allocation for appropriation for recovered costs for the water damage down in the Treasurer and Commissioner's office from insurance proceeds. Angie, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
There's two.
Motion and a second. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There were two other things on there too, I think.
The Adult Protective Services ARPA grant.
Right.
And
Okay.
leave payout.
And then a transfer from general contingencies for a leave payout.
So moved.
Okay.
Thank you.
just for clarification, so that was all grouped together, even though
Yes,
the
it was
cigarette
all
tax
together.
is, information is with that as well? Okay. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Now all we're doing is voting on the cigarette stamp, right?
No, they're all together. It's,
I thought I asked to take that out.
You only want the cigarette tax taken out and the rest of the items?
Right.
Okay, we can do that.
so now we need to do two separate.
Yeah,
right.
so the
That
first one will
work.
be the resolution with the three that he's okay with, the adult protective, leave payout, and government center improvements.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Now, Madam Clerk, please call the
We
roll.
voting on that.
The three. that
Everything except the
Except the
3,400
cigarettes,
cigarette.
yes.
are- The cigarettes separately next.
Okay.
Is everybody clear what we're doing? Okay. Madam Clerk, you'll please call the roll?
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Fidzikowski?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
Aye.
7 ayes.
So now under D is the cigarette tax stamp appropriation for $3,402.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Everybody clear now? We're good? All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Fidzikowski?
Aye.
Mr. King?
No.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Chair Blevins?
No.
5 ayes, 2 no.
Thank you. All right, and then that is, to make sure we're good, county attorney reports.
No report, Madam Chair.
Right. County administrator.
I actually have several things. The last 2 weeks have been incredibly busy. I just wanted to highlight a couple of events. The NRV Tourism Group met over at Pulaski County Speedway now. It's not Motor Mile anymore. For an unveiling of the NRV Regional Tourism Information on May the 11th. Last week, Angie and I had the opportunity to attend this 6-year CTB public hearing with VDOT over in Salem. Made some comments about safety improvements in the county. Also last Thursday, attended RBTC Tech Night with Chair Blevins and Vice Chair Biggs. That was a very well-attended event. On Friday, we had the opportunity to participate in the RSVP 50th anniversary celebration. Angie and I and Ms. Blevins were there for that event. And then I had been invited as a former president of our Rotary Club and also to represent the county at the 100th anniversary of the Christiansburg-Blacksburg Rotary Club on Saturday evening at Virginia Tech. So it was a busy week of meetings last week. This week's not quite as crazy, thankfully. And with that, I just want to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day weekend. Be safe in your travels.
All right. Supervisor Bone.
I want to commend Blacksburg High School for their graduation. I attended this Saturday. Very impressed. A lot of happy people, and I want to congratulate all the students that did graduate. And our superintendent had a great message. Thank you.
Supervisor Shepherd.
No report.
Supervisor Fidzikowski.
No report.
Supervisor King.
No report.
Supervisor DeMotts.
Just a very short report. I had the pleasure of attending the Women's Resource Center fundraiser last week. It was the first time that they had been able to pull off a in-person fundraiser since 2020. At the fundraiser, we learned about several of the items in the Women's Resource Center's mission. A good one that they are able to restart this year that a lot of the parents here probably remember is when people from the Women's Resource Center go into the schools to educate high schoolers about domestic violence, intimate partner violence, and resources that are available in the community should they experience those types of things. Of course, it was a fundraiser, so I would be remiss if I did not mention that they are currently raising funds. Their budget has been cut at the state and federal level several times, so they are raising funds if anybody is inclined to donate to a wonderful organization in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Biggs.
Okay, let me see what I wrote down here. I wanted to give a shout out to law enforcement since we've been celebrating that this this week. And also a shout out to all the 2023 graduates in Montgomery County. There was a lot going on this weekend, a lot of happy people, a lot of happy parents, so that was important. And just to update you, our Race for ACE is going to be in August. So I will send you all some information in case you would like to donate. Remember, I always ask you guys to donate.
Or run, or run.
Yeah,
Run.
so that's coming up. So that's all I have this time.
Very good. So as we close out National Police Week last week, again, I want to do a shout out and thank Sheriff Parton and the Sheriff's Office for their service and sacrifice that they do protecting citizens of Montgomery County. Congratulations to all the high school graduates of 2023. Miss Hill, you had a graduate, and congratulations to Matthew. Sheriff Parton, congratulations to Elena, and we, I don't know if any of you saw, but our Governor Youngkin did a nice video for Christiansburg High School. He was invited to speak from Elena Parton, but couldn't make it, but we are proud of the video that they did for Christiansburg High School Demons. Vice Chair Biggs and Mr. Meadows and I, again, Tech Night, that was exciting. So many exciting things going on for Montgomery County for the businesses. And just wanted to do a shout out that this week is Emergency Medical Service Appreciation Week, and we do appreciate all of our volunteer and career paid staff for all that they do for our citizens. And with that, a reminder, we have the June 5th Planning Commission meeting starting at 6 o'clock. Okay, and just a reminder of that. And with that, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.